Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Pizza Creeps, the show where veteran, distinguished software engineers and distinguished friends talk about software and apps. As always, I'm your host, Johnny. Here's your other host, Joao.
Hello everyone. Hello Jenny. Welcome to another one, exciting one. Our first guest.
And yes, hello to our first guest, Grace.
Hello.
How are you doing, Grace?
I'm well. I'm super excited to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure, for sure. So, today we have a big agenda and we brought you here, Grace, specifically to talk about fitness tech apps, fitness gadgets, all sorts of things. And the first thing I would like to ask you is why is the tech fitness industry so big?
Gosh, it really has exploded, hasn't it, over the past couple of years? I think it's not just fitness, but I think the world of like health and wellness generally has really, really exploded. I think people are really wanting to look after themselves so much more, whether it's, the exercise that they're doing for their bodies, the things that we're eating, our quality of sleep, even things like saunas and ice baths, right, have really come into the mainstream. I think people are really wanting to look after themselves a lot more. And I think fitness in particular, there's so much research now to show the real positive link between exercise and mental health. And let's face it, we're all stressed pretty much all of the time. Like there's so much going on. So I think any opportunity we can to look after ourselves and de-stress, and I think fitness has really been the way forward. I feel like as well, during the pandemic, everything obviously got turned upside down. And I think that's when really like home workouts came into the spotlight and we realized just how convenient it is to work out at home. And I'm always a big fan of classes, but sometimes it can be a little bit scary, right? Or intimidating to go to a class or try something new. And I think during the pandemic, all of that went away. You could try all these new things right from the comfort of your own home.
And I was quite amazed how, of course, you overcome the barrier of it can be awkward to join a class and work out with other people that maybe you hadn't met before. But even those activities, those fitness activities that are usually better with a class, that I find, for example, dance classes are better when you are in there. But even those were trending quite a lot during the pandemic. They managed to find a way to do like shuffle classes remotely, which was quite amazing. So you're right in what you're
I got
saying, but even the ones that you'd expect would be worse remote managed to explode even more.
I got 100%. I tried some really weird and wonderful classes that I just wouldn't have done, in person. I remember me and my housemate at the time, we were doing loads of like dance classes in our lounge. I remember one of my colleagues recommended this dance video called Kukawa. There's basically this YouTube channel, and Kukawa is this kind of African dance. And it's these amazing three ladies. It's like a daughter, a mother, and the grandma who all run these kukawa classes where you could learn how to do this African dance with these amazing tunes, like beautiful scenery, and that's stuff that I just would never have been able to try. So I feel so lucky I got to try that out, from the comfort of my own home. So yeah, I was a big, big fan of those.
Amazing. And that was like the tech there was the Zoom style meeting software. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't a smart yoga mat or a dance floor or DDR Dance Revolution dance floor that you needed to have. Just Zoom recording software. That tech made that fitness explosion possible.
Exactly, exactly. Did you guys try any home workouts during lockdown? Anything strange or unusual?
How about you, Joao?
Yeah, I think it was the moment everyone was more keen to try new things, and I did try like Zoom classes and Instagram live that people are doing and YouTube lives. But I think the the whole market of apps for fitness had a big push then. It felt like people weren't ready to receive such a demand. And obviously the apps were there for people to do that remotely, like Instagram, YouTube. But it wasn't something like native back then, right? When as well as like many other industries that received a push to the pandemic and accelerated a few years. That was, I think, what I was mostly doing is just following like people on Instagram and see what when the live classes were coming up. about you, Jenny? Did you try anything different, or
I did try
what was your
shuffle dance
strategy there?
classes quite a few times, but I also bought a barbell and started working out on my balcony, which was a solo activity, I guess, not a class activity with others, but still a way that my workout regimen changed during the pandemic. It's a huge subject. I think Peloton was at its highest during that time, which was seemingly specific tech to handle the pandemic variable there. And then kind of nowadays has kind of plummeted because we're out of the pandemic and the lockdown times. But maybe it's because the field is so huge. Maybe this is a great time to start talking about our favorite apps and our favorite features. As always, so we're always about praising the good apps that exist, and then we take them, dial them up to 11, and come up with crazy ideas how to make them even better, how to exploit the industry even further. And we have a special segment at the end where we'll present our fitness tech app ideas to Grace, both me and Joao, and then we'll see who will get the dream funding to make those dreams a reality. But to start with, what's your favorite fitness app or fitness feature, or both? Maybe Grace, you can start us off.
Yeah, gosh, this is a really tough one. I think from a general kind of fitness tracking perspective, because I'm a little bit of a data nerd when it comes to kind of my own fitness and wellness. I'm a big fan of my Aura Ring. I think probably like best purchase that I've ever made to kind of invest in that. I just love all of the tracking I get off the back of it. You know, my heart rate, my sleep, you track your heart rate variability, which is a super good indicator for kind of stress and how resilient you are against stress. And I'm someone as well who suffers from anxiety, so it's been really great to kind of help keep track of that and then interpret that data and figure out what else do I need to do off the back of it. And it's actually helped me like change quite a few of my habits to really kind of generally improve my kind of my health and wellness. So I think that's my like top fitness app. I've got probably a bunch of others, but I won't hog up all the space. So yeah, how about you, Johnny?
That's actually interesting because the Oura Ring is not just a fitness app; it's like fitness hardware. Like they made Internet of Things for that thing, which is a great combination. For me, I will say something maybe unexpected. It's Excel and Google Sheets and that sort of thing. We often joke in this show that we expose that software engineering, like people just want us to get into Excel spreadsheets. But what is happening in like the personal training industry, like when you're trying to work out with barbells, powerlifting, and that sort of thing, usually people just have an Excel spreadsheet that tells you, you know, do these reps at like 80% and have all these crazy formulas that tell you that your back offsets are going to be this. But all it is, it's just an Excel spreadsheet. It's not even on the level where we got engineers to turn this into an app. It's just, here's the Excel spreadsheet, fill it out yourself. But the feature that I like the most there is much like you, is the stats, because at least they take the effort usually to keep track of this is what you've done last month or last year or last week. And here's a graph of it growing over time. And I love this. I love all these stats. I'm also a data nerd. And I guess that's what got me into fitness and like powerlifting and that sort of thing, because I wish life in every other aspect was as easily measurable. I wish I could say I'm like 10% more clever because I read 10% more books, or I'm 5% better at my job because X happened. But with those types of workouts, you have the stats to tell you you do lift like 5 kilos more, you do one more rep, and that's what I appreciate the most with that. How about you, Joao?
Yeah, I think that is the key for me as well. The tracking, the data. It's the feature that there is a clear before and after in my workout life, and where I look back, oh my god, before the tracking, before being able to know exactly what I've done and knowing what I'm doing during the day and having like a more specific target and measurements. It was pretty, like subjective. The things I was doing. There was nothing really. I wasn't tracking anything, so it is a game changing tech and all the hardware that made it possible. Like I think Apple Watch is the one I use for tracking everything. It's and I think those are the key features for me in an app. If I use an app for home workout or any other workout, is the ability to integrate with the devices I have. I guess the integration with your trackers is one of the most important things with which Apple does well, but I think other apps also do it quite well, integrating with health in Apple.
Is there any sense that when phones started tracking steps, that led to a bit of the fitness tech revolution? Because I think that's the moment where I heard lots of people tracking that sort of thing, be like, oh, I need to do my 10K steps, and I need a device. I need the Samsung Galaxy that actually does the step tracking, because that one doesn't do it. And I think it made an impact. Like that start of our smart devices are starting to track our habits and fitness-related health. So, but I'm not sure. What do you think?
I think that was definitely like the tipping point. Like I remember, yeah, people like doing like in meetings, wanting to go on walking meetings because they wanted to beat their previous step count or beat their pal's step count. So I feel like that was definitely like the tipping point, where like that tracking really came to the forefront and people wanting to like beat those personal bests and it really getting a little bit more gamified as well. With things like leaderboards and all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, that definitely felt like, yeah, that was the start of it.
Now that you mentioned, I also remember the story of how some of these companies created the system to encourage you to walk even more, but very often didn't have a limit to how much it could go, or it kept going on a geometric progression. So even if you were doing all your meetings in a walk and talk, like if you were on The Wire or like at a TV show, then at some point it would tell you, all right, every day you need to walk like halfway across the world to make it happen. Like it would only increase this. But of course, that was a rudimentary algorithm, because I don't think anyone expected this to be that big. That has eventually changed, and we are tracking that stuff with more accurate devices as well, bespoke devices, not just our phones. We have watches, we have bands, we have rings, we have everything.
Yeah, and the gamification aspect is definitely it was definitely a game changer as well. I remember Strava being something that would connect you to your friends, and then you get like stats and badges and all that achievements, which Apple does well nowadays as well. And it's kind of like a must-have feature, I would say, in a fitness app, some sort of achievements and tracking and some sort of form of gamification nowadays.
Yeah, oh my, 100%. Even at the Body Coach, whenever we speak to users, they love the badges. That's what really keeps them going. Like when they get awarded that next badge, it's such a huge, huge motivator for people. So you're right, it is totally table stakes these days.
Is there any concern that people get too into keeping their streak going, and at some point they're like, all right, I've done 10K steps, next day I'll do 11, then I'll do 12, then I'll do like 55, but actually what you should be doing is like taking one break off, and it's fine. So I'm wondering if you have any sort of like streak recovery functionality to ensure that doesn't happen. People don't get too stressed about maintaining their streaks, and if the badges are strictly positive and not really something that makes you feel you gotta do it.
Yeah, you're so right. There's such like a fine line and a balance here. So at the Body Coach, so we don't have any element of kind of streaks or anything like that. It's probably like, hey, if you've done your first workout, you get a badge, or if you've done your, 10th or 50th, or if you've completed a certain challenge. So we try and keep it quite kind of just focused on kind of the user and like those kind of really big milestones. And we try and bake in guidance around, like maybe maximum workout 4 to 5 times a week, make sure you have your rest days and things like that. And it's also so individual, to the person, where they are in life. So yeah, we try and kind of keep it quite tailored in that way. But you're right, there's such a fine line. Like I think back to apps like, Duolingo, obviously not fitness, but they do a lot of that gamification and those streaks. And I remember I was so like wanting to keep up my streak, and one day I didn't, and I was like, I'm done. I'm not using Duolingo ever again. Like that was the only reason, but it wasn't. It was a weird motivation for me, and
Finally,
I
you
ended
were
up having a
free.
love-hate relate. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's a funny one.
Yeah,
yeah,
everyone
and
wants
the
to see that bird turning into a flame, like cool animation you get when you do the streak. But at some point, you're not even learning; you're trying like your best to do a 1 minute lesson, which teaches you nothing. And in the end, you keep your streak, but I don't know. It may not be good for you. Sorry, Joao, I think I cut
Yeah,
you off.
you've lost yourself.
Yeah, no, I know people that live their lives around the Duolingo streak, and every decision they make is around keeping the Duolingo streak. So 5 minutes before the midnight, they have to like run somewhere and do the Duolingo so they can keep the 700 days streak of. Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a line to cross there in mental health
And it's
Yeah,
a very tricky ground to cover because you want to motivate people, you want to get people going, but maybe the budget approach that you mentioned there is better because you don't feel like, oh, I'm going to break my budget. Nobody's going to be breaking your budgets. I think that's something that Duolingo was doing. They were breaking like your courses and you needed to like refresh them, and they stopped doing that because it was like too mean. But yeah, being able to gamify and motivate people while also not pressuring them, accounting for people having different tastes, that's definitely huge.
exactly. Because I feel like with exercise as well, it's so easy to fall off the wagon, right? Like life happens, ups and downs, injuries, holidays. And I think it's so important we think about exercise and fitness in that context. And it shouldn't be like every day you have to do, the next thing. It needs to be much more tailored and individual. I think that's something that I love about the Aura Ring is that it will tell me my readiness score. Maybe if I haven't slept that well, or if I'm low energy that day, it will be like, hey, how about you do some stretching exercises, rather than that like high intensity workout you were maybe planning. So I feel like that wider context is so important, and that personalization, which I think is coming through a lot more in fitness apps these days.
Yeah, great personal trainer for sure would be doing exactly that. Would know that this is the time where you can push more and you should push more, or maybe it's like a high gravity day, so you should take it easy. Like you should just stay cozy, or warm up, go for a walk, and that's it.
Exactly.
So, would we like to feature creep on any of the apps or ideas we've mentioned already, or should we try to do our pitches and maybe take inspiration from those? Either one is on the table. We've mentioned a few things about stat, about budgets and streaks. We've mentioned quite a few things already, but maybe we need more inspiration. I don't know. Do you have any ideas, Joao?
I think we can move on into the pitches. That would be fun, something new for us to experiment.
Is that all right with you, Grace? Maybe an idea has already sparked in your head and you want to share it?
Oh, I've got a few, but we can save those for later. I reckon we can get right into the pitches.
Perfect. So we'll talk first and then leave the best for last. You'll get to share your ideas. All right. So should I go first, Joao?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So for podcast listeners, we have prepared like a bit of a pitch deck, but very like low effort. Don't expect anything too crazy. We expected that our pitches would change as we discuss today, but I think I'll be able to deliver this. Right, so as we've discussed, there are quite a few obstacles when it comes to working out and keeping a healthy and fit lifestyle. The three that I've identified and research has identified as being the biggest blockers or obstacles to overcome is that I have no idea what to do, how to get started. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I have no idea how to keep this up. How can this be consistent? How can I be in a consistent schedule that can also maintain? And I think most apps are focusing on what to do. They give you like classes you can go to, they give you programs you can follow, they give you quite a lot of those things. Or they how to keep this up, as the body coach does the budgets that we've discussed. There is quite a few things that focus on that, but I don't think there is enough focusing on, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm at the gym, my trainer told me to do this exercise, but I feel like I'm doing it wrong. I don't know what to do. I've never seen like a barbell. I'm on a dance class. I've never done a pirouette. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's the spot that our app is gonna hit the most. We're gonna tackle all three, but the specific niche is what I'm doing. So our app is called Fit Jack. How you doing? It's the catch line. If I was able to do GIFs, I would throw in Joy, of course, doing his classic, how you doing? But I cannot do anything like that, so you have to do with my impression of it. So FitCheck is the app, And it's all about pre-workout motivation. Before your workout, you have to take a selfie that does integrate with your Instagram profiles, your socials, if you want. The hardest thing is getting into the workout, the gym, or starting the workout. Doesn't matter if it's on your home or anywhere else. And I think with this and the social integration will get you in the mood to get dressed, get ready, get into your workout. The big differentiator is the form check, where you set up your phone on your water bottle or wherever is convenient for you. The video records yourself, and then our AI or other users are able to analyze your form and tell you, this is the path that the barbell should be tracking, this is what you're doing, this is a tip. But the big thing with that is that it's not unsolicited feedback from strangers on the internet and may tell you, this is not going to work, why are you doing this, you're lifting your heels, whatever. It's certified good professional feedback. So the AI algorithm to do that is going to be patent pending, really good. That's our main differentiator here, the form check feature. And then we do have the post-workout reinforcement. Again, you need to take a selfie. You need to post it within the app, which is a safe community, but can also integrate with your other socials. And it has tons and tons of stats that focus on, you've done this is how much you've lifted, this is how flexible you were today, this is what you've gone so far. We are tracking many stats, and we are always able to tell you something positive about yourself. It's never going to be, you are back to zero and this is like your first day doing it again. But we'll have the stats, we'll recognize the stat that you need to see in order for you to come back and use the app tomorrow. So FitCheck, that's the app and the idea.
Amazing. Great pitch. Can I give feedback now, or shall I wait until all the pitches are done?
Please do, because we'll forget, I'm sure.
Okay, great. Great. So yeah, great pitch. I loved you highlighted like the problem to solve, I think really, really well. And it's something that like I can personally resonate with. Like I remember, years ago when I was like first starting out in fitness and like I had no idea how to even do a proper push-up. And it's taken me like years really to properly understand the form. And like I've had to go to physical classes with people showing me, exactly what to do. So I can totally resonate with the problem there. Um, I liked that you mentioned, it's not just unsolicited feedback from, anybody and everybody, because the amount of times that I've done like a squat, let's say, and everyone's told me to do it differently. And I'm like, how do you actually do a bloody squat? So I'm glad that it's going to be from, expert trainers who really know what they're doing. Um, and in terms of that tracking, like I would love to see almost like my progression over time. So maybe that first time that I'd done that push up, I got a bit of a kind of, score to say like, hey, you're almost there, but these are things to improve on. And then over time, I can see like, wow, my technique has really improved and I'm now 10 out of 10. And maybe there's like a different, type of push up that I can level up to. Um, so yeah, I'm loving it so far. I think this would be really helpful.
That's an amazing idea. I'm writing it out for sure. And since you are taking the videos already, we're able to do something like that. Like show you your running form or your push-up form. It's like, remember this from like 1 year ago, how far you've come? Like on this day, you were doing like these push-ups, kind of like this. And now here's the path that your body actually takes. Like, isn't it so much improved? It's like 50% more improved, which I think would
Exactly.
be like definitely both a differentiator, because I haven't seen it yet, and will be solving that motivational problem and make you feel good that because you have improved.
100%. And I love that it's focused on like progression for yourself rather than, competing or comparing against other people. You're comparing against your own progress, which is the most important thing when it comes to exercise. You don't want to be comparing yourself against other people. So I love that it's got that individual focus.
Great. I have more scripts to talk about later, but I think we should move on to Joao. So I'll click to follow, but maybe I can try to get to the slides if you're ready, Joao. Try to keep them
Yeah. Can
visible
you?
for
Yeah.
our
If you
friends.
can keep just the problem visible for now, so I can do the big review of the solution later.
So the viewers at home are only seeing the other one. I'm not sure how to
Oh yeah,
keep
no
it
worries.
more hidden.
Let's do that.
Like I'm not a Figma
Um,
expert. I'm not a designer, so I'm not able to get rid of these sidebars. Apologies.
no worries. This is great. So as you can see, there was some overuse of Dolly and image generation, but we'll skip that. Um, So the problem, let's go. Let's go talk about the problem. Travel and work out. It's difficult. Travel and work is something that's more common nowadays. People either traveling for work or they are nomading somewhere and they just work from home from different places and they travel a lot and work outside. People do that, believe me. And routine is something really hard to do to have once you're traveling and you're nomading in different places. So to keep that healthy balance with your food and your exercise, routine is key. And it's really hard to keep your routine once you're traveling and bouncing from place to the other. And you end up just trying to find like a expensive class pass or expensive like daily gym in somewhere or like a weekly pass or something like that. And those things are tough and expensive. So home workouts are a great solution, but you're not comfortable at home. You're in a hotel room, you're in the Airbnb or in a friend's house. How do you keep, how do you make that environment comfortable? So the solution is to record. It's this app that you record a video of the place that you're at, and then you suggest to you the best workouts that you can do in that environment. We'll suggest you the things that you can lift. So let's say you flip around that chair and then you move those things to the side, and then you can do this squat with that plant in your head. And if you jump in a burpee here, you're not gonna hit your head in the ceiling. Believe me, it happens. And that's it. Improvise equipment. It suggests you the workout for the week, and then you can combine the plans depending on like the many hotel rooms that you stay in. You just send it all to the app, and then you combine the plan. Or because this week you have like more limited space, you can do some yoga and things like that that you requires less space. And then you also have a virtual trainer in the local language. It'll tell you like arriba hombre and things like that for you while you're working out in the local language, so you get like a little taste. And also it ties in with the nutrition with the best of the local cuisine that fits your nutrition plan. So it's a win-win-win, many win situation. There's no way no one's gonna invest millions of pounds in this. And it's called a Fit Nomad. Done. Thank you.
Awesome.
Amazing. Oh my God. I feel like this was a total like wild card one. So good. I can relate to the problem where like I've been away and I've been in an Airbnb and I'm like, I don't have weights with me and I forgot to pack resistance bands and I've got to use bottles of wine, for dumbbells. So like trying to get creative there. So nice that this will solve the problem and be a little bit more smart and creative, with the space. And I love the hookup with the local cuisines as well. Why not stick that in there? So yeah, both great ideas.
It makes me think of Terminator Vision, where they can analyze, like, oh, this could be like a knife, or this could be like a weapon of mass destruction. Like, you can turn this into something. Like, your app could be scanning things like, oh, this could be a pull-up bar. This could be like a dumbbell. I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, well, the inspiration comes from my Pilates instructor, which I do remotely. And she's always like, when I'm traveling, she's always like, oh, look at that jar over there. Maybe you can do something with it. Or if you flip that table, maybe you can, I don't know, very creative.
Yeah, I've been able to do progressive overload with my puppy because he's been growing every month. So it's like more weight added.
Nice.
Always helps. I don't know if you want to go on and give us feedback and say who gets the feedback, or if you want to ideate a bit more, Grace, maybe a few ideas that have been sparked from the two pieces that we've done.
Oh, so I think from a like gut feel investment perspective, like if this was Dragon's Den and I had to make a decision on the spot, it's a tough one. Both pitches were great. And I'd invest in both of you individually because I know, how great you guys are, having worked with you personally.
Someone is going to be let off easy now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm happy.
This woman
I'm
is a
happy
pro.
to lose that one now. Yeah.
I think the one that pipped it to the post to me, though, I think was yours, Johnny. And I'm thinking
Oh.
purely from like a reach perspective. Like I know the beginner market in terms of people trying to get into exercise is still huge. And I loved how like you were very like laser focused in on that problem. Um, I did like yours, Joao, but I almost felt like there's too much bundled in, and like it was maybe a bit of a dilution of the problem to solve, and a little bit more of a niche, I think, market in terms of that kind of nomad market. So I think purely from a monetary investment, thinking reach, mass market scale, I'd go for yours, Johnny.
So thank you very much for this. In my heart, I knew I would win. But let's put you on the spot now, Grace, and tell you if you had, like, what would make you give Joao's app funding? Like, what would be the crazy feature about travel related, like nomad life type of tech that would get you to invest in that?
Oh,
Or you can say my
I
idea was just too good,
wonder.
like no, no recovery from that.
So I would wonder if it could like integrate a little bit more with the tracking side of things, or potentially like a community element. I feel like if I'm like a digital nomad and I'm traveling, I'm also wanting to connect with other people, like who are there. So I wonder if there can be some of that like community aspect as well. Like if there are other people who are wanting to do similar workouts to what I'm doing, whether that's Pilates or yoga, whether it can bring in some of that community feel. If there's other people in that, similar hotel or in other local Airbnbs, if if that can maybe be wrapped it up into it, I think that would add a slightly different lens. Because I think the other thing with exercise is having that accountability, and I think community could really, really help there. And with that kind of digital nomad life where you are wanting to maybe strike up more of those connections. So I think that could be a little interesting lens, perhaps.
It's great. Yeah, I agree. I think that's moving on into the feature creeps as well. I think accountability, it's a big thing on exercising, and that's the reason that people like group workouts and personal trainers. It's kind of like makes you accountable and makes you like part of something bigger that you don't have much control of. So yeah, I think I like it. That included I'll include that into my travel workout Fit Nomad app.
If your
But
app could tell
maybe
me,
yeah.
I have an idea on that as well. If your app could tell me, predict whether I'm going to be jet lagged or whether, it looks like that flight is going to be delayed and you'll be jet lagged the next day, so you won't be able to do anything. So maybe, like, while you're stuck in a layover, you can do like burpees or, anything but burpees. Actually, they never do that. But something like that, where from my habits and from my like itineraries and schedules, it can tell me that this is a good chance to work out even for a little bit based on what you have available, and tell me in advance that you won't be able to work out that day because probably you'll get delays and just you want to enjoy your life. Maybe they know in the calendar that I'm on a wedding, visiting for a wedding, and it will be like, no pressure today, just go to the dance floor and go crazy, and that's your workout for the day, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, the yeah. How about you, Johnny? Should we start with some feature creeps? What would you be? Do you have anything lined up?
So something that I didn't dive too much into is the form tech part of this. You could make this super exclusive and just hit, let's say, premium customers that have the Apple Vision Pro or the latest iPhones, which have cameras that are capable of 3D because of the many sensors and all the tech there. They are able to capture 3D video and you are able to see 3D video. So that means we do have a higher likelihood to be able to identify your unique mechanics. Everyone's body is different. So for one person, maybe they need to do wider squats, maybe they need to do more narrow squats. But if we're able to capture that, I think that would be a good differentiator instead of needing to have a personal trainer touch you everywhere. Maybe some people aren't comfortable with that sort of thing. You don't need a doctor to be able to assess your situation. Our app would be able to tell you, maybe you should try this squat like with a wider stance. Try it and see what happens, and we'll be able to identify it thanks to the 3D video. That's the feature creep there.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if people don't know, just giving some context, Johnny is like an expert at the gym form, and he speaks with a lot of basis on that matter because he lifts like 300 kilos on squat and all that, and that's kind of
Not quite.
yeah, but he's kind of like the Greek Terry Crews, and it's how you should see him.
I think
So
one of the
go on, Grace.
I was gonna say one of the little I think feature creep, like you mentioned, kind of the Apple Vision Pro, and it's almost like the flip side of I think your idea, Joao, in terms of like being that digital nomad and traveling. I would love it if like when I'm at home and I'm wanting to do a workout, if I had my Apple Vision Pro and I could actually be doing that workout anywhere else in the world. It could be, doing yoga on that beach, in Brazil, when we were there doing, an amazing yoga session, or if I'm doing a little dance cardio class, take me out of my living room and put me into that club, to really just change that context. Because I think that's sometimes the downside of these home workouts, is
Yeah.
it, you are just doing it at home, and it'd be amazing if you could actually be somewhere else, in the world to make it
Yeah.
that bit more memorable or special.
That would be a huge
Yeah.
seller
That's cool.
for that sort of being able to be in a different place. I do fear for people that would actually go to the gym wearing them to escape and be actually in Maldives, like in a beach in Maldives. I think that would make it a
Yeah.
bit awkward.
Yeah, it's still I think Apple Vision Pro is there, and we'll start accepting the new apps, and it'll become more normal for people to wear it around. But I can still feel awkwardness if I see someone wearing this at the gym. But yeah, I think that makes sense. At the gym, you still have like in the treadmill, you can set up some. At least the gym I go to, a lot of treadmills do that. You can set up some scenery so you can run and look at the coast of California while you're running your treadmill. I guess that's next level of this feature. It's involving AR into that. But also the home. I agree with the home workout being a bit boring. It's the same as like mixing your home with your work. So you have like an office and home, and then it's nice to have like another place to work out, and maybe um, having a better setup and having sort of a routine. If you do home workouts, having a better setup and a like, sort of a routine in place to put your mat on the floor and move some furniture, it feels like you're in your home gym. Not everyone has a space for a home gym, so I imagine people would be doing that if they're doing home workouts.
I can see Apple Vision Fitness version because the Apple Vision Pro, by all accounts, is way too bulky. You have to attach your battery on your side, so it would be very restricting the amount of moves that you can do. Like yoga seems impossible, but I could see a line that is specifically for that sort of thing. It allows you to escape and transform your home into a gym or a place that you're happy to work out in without sacrificing the things you can actually do with it. That makes your idea and company even more valuable because you need to create that hardware as well to take on Apple.
Yeah, I've seen the Magic AI mirror, which is a mirror that has some sort of personal trainer for you, and it helps you get the right form. So it's aimed at home workouts, but it helps you with the form and things like that. So I think that's also a step forwards that using AR for home workouts.
Nice. Yeah, the form check, they already stole my idea. Wow. They have the website up in the 5 minutes that it took from when I said it to now. That's amazing engineering
Yeah,
there. But
exactly.
yeah, that sort of thing looks very cool. I've also seen in the home tech space a lot of gym hardware, I guess, that's made to save space because you don't have infinite houses, especially if you live in places like London or New York or any other place where the price per square meter is so high, that are trying to do things with magnets, for example. So you don't need like a barbell with like a million plates. You can just use that, and the tension in the cables magically is able to transform into 200 kilos of force. And you still get to have your room. You only have like about yoga mats worth of gear, which is quite cool.
Nice, that's great.
Any other like unrelated to our apps ideas that got into your head with our talks, Grace?
Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit about Sora AI actually, and in terms of like kind of generating content, because I think one of the things where I've obviously been banging on about Aura Ring and all the great tracking that they have, but they don't quite go as far as to like recommending the workout that I should do based off all of my various scores. I often have to interpret the data and figure that out myself. So wouldn't it be amazing if, based off, my sleep score, my energy levels, all of that good stuff, it then has generated the perfect workout for me based off all of that, based off my fitness goals. Maybe I'm wanting to work more upper body or lower body or core, and it can generate that perfect workout for me based off all of that stuff with, the music that I like that gets me working out better. So yeah, I thought that could be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. With like your favorite music and things like that. It's
Yeah,
yeah, personalization can become more of a standard, I guess, with those things for sure. Um, but a lot of those things also come from popularizing tools that were on once like targeted at athletes or like professionals, and then you can now it's now more you know in the hands of everyone to do that. So yeah, I really like the idea.
Democratize athlete level
Yeah,
pro
exactly.
performance and training. Yeah,
yeah.
that's very catchy for sure. I have actually used an app kind of like the one you're suggesting that was yoga based. You could specify your playlist even or the length of time that you want to work out. And then it would generate a yoga flow for you that would take exactly that amount of time. And they would be able to
Nice.
do that even like, I think it was like 5 years ago. It was during lockdown, which I don't know if it's like 3 years ago or 15 years ago. It feels like both at the same time, but they created videos for each pose to go into pretty much every other pose and then kind of stitches them together and gives you a flow that looks unique to you. It's definitely unique to you, but also looks realistic enough. It kind of looks like they're making it up as they go because they change the camera angles and they make sure that the trainer wears the same clothes, even though I'm sure they needed quite a few days to sort that much footage. And it was nice. It felt like it was like a personal yoga workout, even though clearly everything was pre-recorded. And now with like the power of AI, they can do like so many things that make it feel like even more fresh. Because even if you do that, then you recognize that, oh, it's going to downward dog. And I've seen this flow before, and after a while, you want to see something new. But if the app was able to generate a new video for you to see every time, and maybe a crazier video, maybe now it's still downward dog, but it's on the moon. Like I don't know, it's an astronaut doing it. I don't know if that would be helpful or not, but it could help keep things fresh.
Definitely. I feel like these days our attention span is so short and we're like always looking for that like variety or something different. So I feel like that would definitely hit that.
I wish I could scroll back to like the next exercise, like next, and it's done. I'm out. Workout complete. Any more ideas at the table from either of you?
Nothing else
Um,
from me. I'm spent.
yeah, just I was thinking a bit more on the popularizing tools that were once built for professionals, and this happened in like so many areas before. Um, where like the GoPro cameras that was initially designed for professionals, and like the Nike shoes that were designed for athletes, and I think there's more of that to come. And when you look at like what are like professional footballers are currently doing or professional athletes are doing to stay fit or do things that's like the ultimate more expensive things they can do, and there's a lot of like genome sequencing is something that the athletes do, and it's popularizing a bit more now, so the public can access your genetics predisposition and then have like tailored fitness and and nutrition plans based on that. And those things are still a bit too expensive to be so popular, but there are apps like Zoe that does like the food that figures out what kind of like effects of each food has in your body. Um, but I think there'll be some stage where this will be popularized into like it will be more accessible. That's what I mean. Um, and maybe there are things now that aren't so expensive that could be used. And I think the mental health aspect might be one of them. There's a lot of and it's already like a standard for sports psychology and the motivational interviewing, the biofeedback that you get or given certain stimuli. So I think that's more. I think I would probably explore a bit more of this as a feature creep in one of these apps, just like trying to really get on like when do you better work out? What sort of like mind state do you need to have to perform the best under stress and under all the situations? That's what like professional athletes do, and that's like a clear change in the sports nowadays. I think is to see those athletes in like the highest moment of stress performing the best they can do. So I think there's probably space for that still in the apps.
One of the famous stats about LeBron James, top two ever basketball players, was that he spends 1 million on his body per year, and that was like from 10 years ago. And you can see the results today because he can still play on the highest level, even though he's like 39 or approaching 40, and he still makes the playoffs. He's still like the best or second best player in his team. You can see the results of spending that much money in his health, body and mind wise. And if you can democratize that and say, oh, you can now do what LeBron James did to figure out the best schedule to do their workouts, do their yoga mindfulness, but it only costs you, $10 subscription that's like popular nowadays, $50 or something like that. Like people would be able to afford it and do it, and maybe will live longer, healthier lives. I see I've stunned you into silence.
Yeah, that's a great hook into silence.
It happens because, I started working out a long time ago, back in ancient Greece when I started working out. We used to say nusigis and somati igi, which translates to healthy mind, healthy body, which you can take in a few different ways that we haven't quite covered today. We've talked a lot about train your body. We've talked a little bit about train your mind. So I don't know if we want to cover that subject as well, because before we saw ourselves out.
Yeah, maybe Grace, you have anything on that or any input?
Yeah, I think these days, like the connection with mind and body is so important, and it's coming across, I think, a lot more in apps. It's not just about, mental health and mindfulness or like, your physical health and exercise. It's much more integrative. And like you were saying, Joao, even like, with Zoe and understanding the impact that food has and your gut health, like everything is now super, super connected. So I think having that more like holistic approach is going to become even more important. And I think even from like I think the other thing that I'm really passionate about is the kind of femtech angle. So like even understanding like where I am like in my cycle, and based off that, what my energy levels are going to be, what I should be eating, what kind of exercise I should be doing. I think that as well is going to like come a lot more to the forefront to again go back to that personalization of making sure that you're doing what's right for you, based off all of these different factors and all of these different data points.
Great insights there for sure. That's a huge part of customization. And why you should be part of diverse teams, because I've only heard from female fitness friends that today, oh no, it's like blood moon day, so I cannot do like the hard stuff. But I will never be able to come up with that on my own because I am who I am. Right. Any further thoughts?
Maybe you have one there, Johnny, that you want to disclose. Have you thought of anything else?
I think that, no, I did have another one. So when I was holding on to this one, because when you said the flip side, Grace, for one of our ideas, it was actually about Joao's idea. But I thought, flip side, of course, I was talking about the 3D video. And we were discussing about, with Apple Vision Pro, if you are able to wear it and see a 3D video of someone else, like a professional trainer, doing the exercise, or even a 3D model of yourself, doing the exercise, and then you walk around and you can see the exercise from every angle, you can touch the model. It's easier to understand, to get that mind-muscle connection that, that's what I actually want to do. The best fitness apps usually have videos of people that kind of look like you, and then they have videos of the same exercise from like two angles, like front and side. Mm-hmm. But what if you could have every angle in the world, every angle that you want? I think that would be quite good.
I love that. And that just sparked a different thought actually, they say, and we were talking about like top athletes and all the things that they do for great performance. And I've heard like one of the big things is around like visualization and actually visualizing yourself doing that exercise or reaching that goal. So imagine actually if you could do that and you could see a video of yourself, doing that pull up if you've never been able to do a pull up before, or doing that move or lifting that particular weight to really help kind of bring that visualization to life to really help you kind of reach those goals as well.
Seeing yourself do it helps you like believe and actually do it. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can see that. I feel that many times. Like I need to just know that something is possible. Like I just need to see someone else like clear that gap, like jump that high, and then I know I'm able to do it. And if I've done it before, then I know I can do it. So I'll do it again. So if the tech could show me do it, maybe it would trick my mind into actually doing it for real. That's very interesting.
Yeah. That kind of links to another feature creep I had here, which is a simulation on how you would look like if you follow the plan. So let's say you have like a 7 months plan, and then it just shows you a little short video generated on your body changing if you follow that plan, nutrition and workouts. So yeah, it's sort of like that Black Mirror episode where they simulate the dating, but it actually simulates your body changing.
But they don't actually show the dates. It just tell you like compatibility in the end in that Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
So would it just tell you look hot, like you look better, you look happy, you look like healthier than ever. Just do it. Like this plan, you follow 99% chance of happiness. Like this plan, like 10%. Don't do that one. Maybe that's a different, slightly different idea.
Maybe it becomes a game and then you can simulate some injuries on the way, and then it's kind of like your own Tamagotchi, your Tamagotchi that gets into great fitness in the end. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, when we've managed to work Tamagotchi into the apps, we know that we've feature creeped quite a lot.
Yeah, I should have put that on my pitch deck instead.
Plus Tamagotchi, like your Tamagotchi goes anywhere, goes with you. Keep it fit.
Yeah.
That could be the motivator. I do think like taking care of something else, like that's a way to maybe motivate, like some would say guilt trip. People like the Duolingo once again is getting shots fired out of nowhere. Like, they often like saw the owl like being sad, like being stressed, being like depressed out of its mind because you haven't extended your streak. So you could do something like that. Like your Tamagotchi is in dire need of food, and you need to do like 2 pull-ups to feed it. Like I can see that working, but do we want it to work? I don't know.
Yeah, this reminds me of my uncle saying like, my mom would ask him like, "Oh, have you worked out today? Have you done your walking exercise?" And he was like, "Yeah, I paid someone 10 reais to do it, so I'm done." So yeah.
That is a Black Mirror episode. Being able to like pay someone else to like do the exercise for you and you get the benefits, that'd be quite good.
Yeah.
Maybe the show Severance is a bit about that. But I think we're getting a bit too wild here. So I'll have to manage us for time and ask once again. If you do have ideas, of course, feel free to share. If you're happy for time, I'm happy for time. I'm just conscious of it as well.
Yeah, I think I can drop another one just so we can cut out of the episode later when we do the editing, because that one is really bad. I was going to use that one in the pitch deck, and then as I started elaborating on it, I was like, whew, this is certainly not going to get investment.
All right, so this one is for the real Z's that stick out to the end of the episode. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Love it, little
So
bonus.
I was thinking about the aspects of working out, the accountability of having a personal trainer and being in a gym class where people can see what you're doing, and then you feel like, being looked. And sort of like what I was thinking is a workout that you have to set up a camera in your home, but you're not being seen yet. So if you start not pushing hard, and then you start just like lagging behind the other people working out, though the tracking demonstrates. Let's suppose you have figured out that the different levels of effort for different people, and then you're not matching the level of effort, then you start appearing on camera to everyone else doing that workout. And then you become like a bigger and bigger individual as the less harder you work, the more you appear. So everyone would be afraid of like not exercising. So that's why why I didn't put in the pitch deck now.
Oh my God, that's my worst nightmare. I am 100% that person who does a home workout, turns the Zoom, like the live Zoom video off, and will like leave out the exercises that I don't want to do.
Exactly.
Oh
So
my God.
you would work out harder in that case. So that's great push for people.
So wait a minute.
It's
Like,
probably like naming and shaming.
would it make your avatar bigger the less effort you put in, like to kind of
Yeah,
like name and shame you? I see. I thought it was the other way around. Like the
exactly.
less effort you do, like the least you get on screen. But I guess I'm a guy that does
Less
like 2
effort.
live streams, so I'm like, oh, I want to be on camera. I want to be in there. Get me in there. But I see how you have like a completely different angle of it's like, oh, I don't want to be on the spotlight. Get me out of here. Just let me skip those burpees in peace.
Exactly. So public shaming. It's that's why I left it to the end so we can cut it out of the episode later easily.
It's the opposite of what Peloton did, which is the shoutouts. I think the trainer would see the leaderboards and then say, "Oh, Grace, you're
Yeah.
doing amazing. You're like in the first position, and you overtook like Johnny or whatever else." But this is like the naming sayings, like Johnny, you're in last place. You're doing horribly. I can't believe how slow you're going. I think your Peloton bike may be off. But Peloton is going under, and maybe that's an indication that your idea like is correct. They should be shaming and naming the people who don't put the
Yeah.
effort.
That's it. Yeah. Now I'm out.
Cool. Anything else to recover after this, or is that idea unrecoverable, Grace? What do you think?
I think we should end on that high. I don't think we're going to beat that.
I agree. So, Joao, thank you very much for joining me as always. Do you want to give a shout out to anything? Usually you shout out your
Yeah.
personal website, but maybe you have other projects that you'd like to talk us about.
Yeah, today we're good. We're good. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for hosting again and everything. It's great hosting once again. Um, yeah, there you go. So many. It's the most common name in Portuguese, so you won't find that easy. But yeah, it's there somewhere.
You have to say my name. You
jdmartin.com.
have more things. We'll talk about them more. But we see you every episode. Grace, tell us more about yourself. First of all, thanks a bunch for coming here and being our very special guest. Thanks a million. Let us know what you'd like to shout out.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks so much for having me. It's felt really special, so yeah, thank you. I just want to do a little shout out to the Body Coach and the Body Coach app where I work. So for those that don't know, yeah, it is a fitness app. We've got a huge range of workouts on there, structured plans, tailored meals to help you reach your kind of fitness and wellness goals. And yeah, the mission's all about getting people moving and cooking. So yeah, do check it out. And we are also hiring as well. So if there's anybody listening, we're currently hiring for some software engineers and an iOS engineer as well.
Amazing. And that's also something that we didn't tackle that much. Your idea with the Nomad Chow, that's a little bit on the cuisine. But that's something that's front and center now on the marketing of the Body Coach, which I don't think it had like recently when I tried it. It was mostly about the workout plans. So it's amazing that you're bringing that in, because nutrition is like the other half of the puzzle for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, I really like the recipes there. I was using the Body Coach for this week, and yeah, it's solid app.
Yeah, there's a nice range on there in terms of like whether you're meat, veggie, like more basic
Mm.
with cooking or something else. So yeah, we get a lot of good feedback on the recipes, which is nice.
Yeah, they are mostly quick as well, which I like very quick recipes, and yeah, that's for
Yeah,
me
same.
for
I'm all
sure.
about the 10-minute meals.
Hmm.
Definitely. Like I have a quick healthy meal, which is of course Greek yogurt with like honey or like berries or like something like that. It's like you just open your total or whatever you have, like you put in your fruits. That's it. Like that's what you need. But how much do I need? That's when recipes and trackers like that come in.
Yeah, just reinforcing my point on the Greek Terry Jeffords. But yeah,
Johnny loves yogurt. Yes, it's true. All right. So with that, I will thank the audience. I will thank everyone watching or listening later on their podcast app of choice. Thank you, Joao. Thanks again, Grace. And we'll see everyone on the next episode.
Thank you so much. See you, Grace. See you, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.